Hello guys, David here and welcome back to another video. Hope you are all well. In this one we are going to be doing something slightly different. It's not a how-to, it's not an experiment, it's not one of my two series currently underway. All of those you can check out on the channel elsewhere. Link to the playlists will be in the description below. What we're going to be doing in this one is battling a topic that has been coming up a little bit more in recent time with the fact of obviously everything that's happened in the past few months. I'm not going to mention the C word, but recently in the news we had a bit of a comment from Miles at Sports Interactive about the future of Football Manager 2021. Now we're pretty confident that it's going to be delayed past its normal release date. So obviously that's now giving us a little bit of time to potentially show a bit more love and care and attention to Football Manager 2020. But with the next potentially 2.5 months, 3 months potentially, probably before Christmas, so at the time of recording will be maximum 3 months, we should be seeing FM21 come into play at some point. We just don't really know when. And it's probably at this stage where you're probably starting to give up a little bit on your saves in FM20. So what this video is going to be entailing to do is to hopefully give you guys that little bit of a kick up the backside. So what I've done is I've thought of 5 quick save ideas that you guys can do just to get you back into the swing of things. If you've not been playing it much, you've been sat on Steam, just kind of gathering a bit of dust, virtual dust, of course. Have a try at these 5. If you do go for any one of these, obviously you can take the names if you want. I've just kind of thought of stuff off the top of my head. You don't have to use these series names if you want to put them online or whatever. But if you do choose to go with any of these, be really good to really good to see how you guys get on with them as well. I'm doing one of these for my beta save in FM21. I'll tell you which one it is when I get to it. But if you do any of these in FM20 right now, let me know in the comments how you get on with them. It'd be really good to see what you guys get to do. But without any further ado, let's roll the intro and let's jump into those 5 save ideas, shall we? All right then, challenge number 1. Now this is something that I've seen quite a few people try and do. I'm actually seeing Demand More FM doing something very similar on his channel, his series Mon the Dons. Link's going to be in the corner of the video of the screen right now. His link to his channel is in the description as always as well. He is doing this in the Scottish Premiership, and this is going to be where I'm putting a little bit of focus on in this particular video, or this particular clip. There are obviously honourable mentions to the likes of the Schalkes, the Milans and Dortmunds and Lazio's and things like that that you could mention within here as well. This does kind of fall in with idea save number 5 as well. But domestic dominance reset, that's the name of the challenge. As I said, I'm focusing on north of the border. Those of you who have any knowledge of Scottish football, probably more than me, so forgive me if I get any of these things wrong. I'm going to try and be vague on purpose. But over the past decade or so, the Scottish Premiership has been awash with green and white hoops. It has been an absolute dominant display from Celtic in the last 10 years. Obviously, Rangers had their financial turmoil. They got booted down the leagues and they've managed to get back up. And under Steven Gerrard at the moment, they're doing pretty well. However, they've not yet managed to topple the boys, I think they're called, aren't they? BHOYS. Let me know in the comments if you're a Celtic fan and that is who they are. Give me a little pat on the back for that because I'm pretty sure that's correct. Can you get the Gers to upset the boys? Obviously, you can pick other teams. Like I said, Moore's doing his save with Aberdeen. You've got those guys. You've got Motherwell. You've got Kilmarnock. If you really wanted to have a big challenge, the Dundee teams. Go a little bit lower if you want to make it even longer. Go into the Championship. Go to the likes of the St Mirrens and all those sorts of people. Get them up there, and yeah, basically just knock Celtic off their perch. It's been too long. Upset that apple cart. Go and get another team doing their own dominance, and really just try and get the Scottish League to be a bit more competitive. I hate to say it, I don't watch Scottish football at all. I've got to be honest with you, but there needs to be a bit more competition in there. Yes, Rangers have done a really good job of getting them back up there, and I believe they're fighting very closely with Celtic for the title this year. And I hope they push them the whole way. And they've done it to an extent over the last few years, but get more teams fighting at the upper echelons of that. And as a little extra challenge, if you want to slap it on there as well, get them doing well in European competitions. Get the coefficient up in the league. Get them getting those better berths in European competitions, and start to see some Scottish football on the rise. Back in the 60s, 70s, they were properly up there. Celtic were drawing in hundreds of thousands into Celtic Park. Is it Celtic Park? I can't remember. They were bringing in massive amounts of crowds. Bring back the likes of the Alan Brazils and the Ali McCoist from Rangers and people like that, and get them fighting back where they should be. up in the high echelons of, I'd say, national football, domestic football, and continental football as well. Let's see if we can get those guys back there, and let's upset the apple cart. All right then, challenge number 2, or as I'm calling, 4 more years of hurt. There is a question mark in there, as you'll see. This one, for those of you who follow any form of international football, will be an easy one to understand where I'm coming from on here. 1996, there was a song released, and it specifically had the line in there, 30 years of hurt. Yes, of course, in 1996, it had been 30 years to the year since England won their one and only World Cup title, with the likes of the Bobby Charltons, the Bobby Moores, and Jeff Hurston, all of that sort of obviously powering to victory in extra time against West Germany in that one. Awesome result in that one. However, I think you'll all agree, a team like England, it's just been far too long since they've had any form of international success. If you discount the key one in the World Cup in Russia in 2018. I'm sure those of you who don't support England would just say they had an easy draw, which is fine, each to their own. Your challenge in this one is to win some form of international honours with England. Ideally, if you can win all three, that would be amazing. I say all three because I am going to include the Nations League on there. But if you win the Nations League, I don't think you should stop the challenge there, because that's probably the easiest of the three to win. I think you want to combine that with a World Cup or a European Championship. Um, Give it a go. Bring in the golden generation. We all know the up and coming players in the England setup at the moment. Is it going to be the same on FM? Are you going to have the same sort of luxuries of the likes of the Jadon Sanchos, the Mason Greenwoods, and things like that? Or are you going to see other people come through? Can you do it before the regens take over? Who knows? Can you do the unthinkable and end the now, what, 60, nearly 60 years of, I think, 54 and counting years of the fact that we've not won a trophy in England? Can you do the unthinkable and bring back a trophy for the home nations and just bring football home? All right then, save number 3. This one, very appropriately named, I have to say, is called the less special one. For those of you who aren't aware of that pun, I'm going to bring up the man on screen who has identified himself as the special one. Of course, it's Jose Mourinho, trophy winner extraordinaire. The man can win a trophy from anywhere. I've never known anything like it. He could win anything. I can't think of an example. He's just too good at what he does. He's won what, over a dozen trophies in his career, with Porto, Inter Milan, Real Madrid, Chelsea twice, Man United. I think he even won a trophy there. I'm sure he did. Hasn't won with Spurs yet. That, so you know, is going to be my beta save. So I'm going to be doing this challenge with Tottenham Hotspur in the beta. As mentioned, it is a short-term save. It's basically a challenge to win as many trophies as you can with Mourinho as a team that Mourinho has managed, not as him. That would be weird. I don't know if you can overtake people like that in a Football Manager. Never known it in the past. Anyway, the challenge is to win as many trophies as you can with the team Jose Mourinho has managed in the past. So yeah, we're talking Porto, Inter Milan, Real Madrid, Chelsea times 2, Man United, or Tottenham Hotspur. I've probably gone for, in my opinion, the most difficult one in the save, because Tottenham Hotspur are a good side. I can't say any fairer than that. I do think they're a good footballing side, although sometimes they can be a little bit meh, to be completely honest with you. However, if you look at the likes of Porto, they'll have a good chance of winning the league or the cup, easy. Real Madrid, anything. Give them a trophy, they'll go for it. We know that. Manchester United, they could probably win a domestic cup, and if you got the right additions in, they could probably have a good fist at winning the league. Chelsea, same again. Although they've probably done a better business this summer, let's be honest. Frank Lampard's done a bit of a football manager himself, bringing in the players that he has. And Inter Milan, again, probably a chance to get a cup win in there somewhere. So I would argue that Tottenham's probably the most difficult. And that's why I wanted to do it. It's something slightly different. But yeah, the challenge is win as many trophies as you can in whatever time period you want to set. I would say do it within a certain time frame. Maybe take it upon yourself if you pick the club that he's managing. Maybe you take the time that he had at Chelsea when he was there in 2004 and see how many trophies he won in that 3-year stint he was managing there. Do the same with Real Madrid. Do all of those sorts of things and just make it up as you go along. If you want to give yourselves little challenges, you want to be a very arrogant manager, I'm pretty sure you can do stuff like that in Football Manager these days. Do something like that, add a little twist to it. And yeah, just get stuck in and win as many trophies as you want. Hopefully, it's kind of like a glory hunter save. You get loads of nice trophies out of it. Get maybe some achievements in Steam if you were never good at it like me in the first place. And yeah, have at it. Right then, challenge number 4. I quite like this one. This seems like a good, fun, a potentially very short-term save. So you can obviously add vamp on this if you want to as you move on. But this one I'd like to call Rise of the Financial Powerhouses. With this one, obviously you've got the likes of the Man Cities, the PSGs, even China potentially if you really wanted to go that far afield, but not one that I'm going to be including on this one. And bring in the fact that obviously they've got so much financial acumen around them. Looking at them on the FM database, you've got the likes of £6 million a week wage budgets, hundreds of millions of pounds to spend on players every year in your transfer budget, but no European trophy to show for it. I know PSG got to the final of the Champions League this year, but to be honest, were they ever going to beat Bayern Munich? I don't think so. I really don't. I think, to be honest, I thought Man City would have got further, and I thought they'd give them a better chance, but they didn't. Can you get one of those two teams or any other team that's had a significant financial injection? I'm just picking them as the two main ones off the top of my head. Can you take a team like that to European Championship glory? European Championship to Champions League glory. It's on paper should be an easy challenge. It's not been done by many. It's not been done by anyone in real life up until now for either of those teams. In well, definitely not for Man City, and definitely not for PSG either, as far as I know. But can you take a team of that financial caliber and get them to the height of European continental football? Like I say, on paper, it seems like an easy task. You've got the best players in the world queuing up to join your club. Obviously, you've got to try and maintain some sort of domestic dominance in there as well. You can't go and win the Champions League and finish in sixth in Liga 1 or fifth in the Premier League. You've got to do it whilst maintaining that dominance that they have in the domestic competitions, of which obviously in England there are many, as they are in France as well. So that's your challenge. Take one of those two big teams, win the big tournament, win the big money prize, get the Champions League back into that trophy cabinet, and then continue that domestic form that they're on as well. All right then, guys. Final challenge. Challenge number 5. This one, again, I've thought of this thing off the top of my head. Feel free to use your creative license. You guys watching this are probably far more creative than me at this stage. But reignite a fallen giant. I've picked two in particular. Again, you can go around Europe like you could with the domestic dominance reset on these ones. The two in question are based in England. Obviously, you can get loads of time out of an English save. You've got loads of different competitions, loads of different like top and bottom underdog stories you can work around as well. But reignite a fallen giant. I've elected to pick, and I know this is probably going to be controversial to a few of the people watching this. Man United and Arsenal. I'd probably say the latter is more of a fallen giant than Man United are because they did finish third in the league last year and got to the semi-finals of the Europa League. However, these two teams, see, we go back to the likes of the Thierry Henrys, the Teddy Sheringham's, the Paul Scholes eras, the late 90s, early 2000s, the Invincibles from Arsenal for crying out loud. There's a little bit you can add on to your save if you want to add that little element of difficulty into there. You want to make it go for a little bit longer, but get those teams back to where they should be. I don't even know. I think Arsenal finished fifth last season. I think it was. That's not where they should be finishing. You've got the likes, obviously Liverpool are up there. Man City have got the acumen to buy their way there now, but get those two back into the top four. You could put in an honourable shout for Chelsea. I know you could, since the Abramovich years, and I know you go way back before then, before they had the money, and they were still a good team back then. But these two, for me, they're the two big ones that really should be fighting for. They should be fighting for the league every year, as far as I'm concerned. So get them back on the right track, and get them back into where they should be in the top four, and get them competing for that Premier League title year on year on year. Honourable mentions for them outside of the UK. Obviously, you've got the likes of the Milans. You've got Roma, even potentially you could look at Lazio, potentially worth a sniff. Being a very good team. Obviously, recent events coming out. Valencia could be one. They're not necessarily a giant as such. I don't think they probably are in Spain, but maybe not in world football. But get them back to where they were. They've had some financial turmoil. Bring them back up to competing in the top four year on year. There's going to be other teams, the Schalkes, the Dortmunds, all of those. Bayer Leverkusen, I didn't even think of them as I was writing these down before, but Bayer Leverkusen, bring them back to being competing up in that top level, and just really start to bring those sorts of teams back into play, and get it back to the 90s, early 2000s, where you had those teams fighting for silverware year on year, and tried to bring in an element of competition to things as well. Well, there you have it, guys. Those are the 5 challenges I am going to set you for this year's, or the ending of the Football Manager 2020 life cycle. Give yourself a bit of a challenge. Like I say, they are entailed to be short-term saves. They're not going to be the kind of thing that you hopefully, well, unless you're really, really not very good at the game like I am, they're not going to be the kind of saves you're going to be spending decades of game time on to try and get to where you need to be. This should be the kind of thing you should be able to get done within maybe 4 or 5 years, I would say. See, differing depending on what it is that you go for, and if you want to add in any other little bits and bobs of challenges in there as well. But they're the 5 you're going to go for. So you've got the domestic dominance reset, you've got 4 more years of hurt, the less chosen one, rise of the financial powerhouses, and reigniting a fallen giant. They are going to be the 5 you want to go for. As mentioned, obviously, feel free to entertain some other little bits and bobs in terms of the challenges and then make it your own. And please let me know in the comments if you do pick up one of these, if you've got some time spare and you want to just have a bit of a bash at a different sort of save from what you'd normally do, different from the non-league to legend, road to glory sorts of things, different from taking your favourite team or anything like that. Go do something a bit different. Exercise the mind, give it a bit of a whirl, and like I say, let me know how you get on. But anyway, guys, that's all from me for this video. Thank you very much for watching as always. If you did enjoy this one, please make sure you leave a like on the video. That'd be very much appreciated. If it's the first time you've come across the channel, my name is David. I've been with Pressing Forward FM. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the bell notification for all of the other videos that will be going out over the next weeks, months, and hopefully even years into the future. Who knows? And as I mentioned before, let me know if you do pick up one of these saves, and let me know how you get on in the comments. And if you want to have a chat about it in a bit more detail over other parts of social media, make sure to drop me a little follow on Twitter as well. We can always have a chat on there. But anyway, guys, that's all from me. My name's been David. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. Cheers.